The dumbbell bicep curl is at first glance an easy exercise to execute. So why is it that I see so many people in the gym and on social media perform the exercise incorrectly? I'm Jenny Nim and I'm a personal trainer for over 15 years, specializing in body recomposition and exercise technique. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a seated dumbbell bicep curl. I've broken it down into simple, easy to understand sections, including a section that helps you work with your unique anatomy and not against it. If you apply everything you learn in this tutorial, you will not only develop some great biceps, but you'll achieve this more efficiently in less time and with less weight needed. So let's get started. Right, Lauren, before we start doing the bicep curl exercise, we need to look at the arm path, and we do that by assessing your carry angle. So first of all, stand in front of a mirror and just place your arms by your sides, elbow crease facing forward. So that's a little bit rotated, so just turn it until it's square to the mirror and keep your palms open. Now, if you look in the mirror at both of us, can you see the gap between your hand and your hip is slightly wider than mine? And some people will widen yours, they'll look like that.
Really?
So that really depends on the anatomy of your body, and that's the elbow crease. So my one's a bit more horizontal and your one's a bit more diagonal, which means when you bend your arms, so you bend your arms now, keeping the elbow crease facing forwards, palms open, you can see that my ones will be straight up and straight down, and your ones are slightly like a W shape. So at this moment, you've rotated it, so the elbow crease facing that way. So you face it forwards and just straighten your wrists and then just make a fist. So that's the top of view of your bicep curl.
Yeah.
And if you straighten the arms, you can see it goes back to that place where you've got a little bit of gap there. Yeah. So now that you know your carry angle, we can move on to the setup. Right, now I'm going to take you through the setup, and first of all, we're going to go through the bench position, the foot position, the torso position, and then the arm position, including the top and the bottom. So the bench angle needs to be 75 degrees from the side profile. And from this point, if you place your feet hip width apart, you don't want the feet to be too wide because they might get in the way of the dumbbells. So Lauren, show me what you do for a bicep curl. Right, so first of all, we're going to correct your torso position. Yeah. So I want you to just sit forwards, and what you were doing, you were kind of slumping down a bit. Yeah. So you drop your sternum, that's your spine trying to move. So you lift up your sternum and just lengthen your upper spine, and then from that position, take a deep breath in and engage your core. So so when do a few breaths, and when you inhale and exhale, try not to let this go soft. So that's you bracing your core. Now from that position, maintain that and just lean back onto the bench without dropping your sternum. Okay, great. So that's the torso angle. So now I'm going to run through what's happening in the shoulder joint, elbow joints, and the wrist joint. So the elbow joint is the moving joint, and these two joints they should be non-moving. To keep this stable, you need to first of all keep this lifted and also just engage your lats. So just squeeze the shoulder blades into the bench and perform a few reps. And what you need to do is just maintain that engagement. If you relax it, you'll see that your shoulders will start to roll in. Elbow angle, if you can see, you're kind of turning out this way. Yeah. And that's okay as long as you keep the elbow pinned to the bench. Okay. So do a few more reps. And sometimes this angle is actually better for some people, because if you've got a big chest or you've got big biceps or the dumbbells are extra big, then you won't have space to complete the move. But for you, I want you to just rotate, just so it faces forwards a little bit more, so it's more 45 degrees. And then do a few more reps, and just keep this elbow pinned to the end of the bench. Good. With the wrist joint, I can see it's a little bit loose, so just do a few reps and then I'll just show you what you're doing. So at the top here, I can actually see this number rotating. So if you just try and close this gap here and yep. So can you see there's a little bit that's loose. So it's like you're trying to get the dumbbell closer to your arm, but it's not coming from the bicep. So if you lower the arm again, keep this close to the bench. So this is vertical. And just at the bottom, you're relaxing a little bit. So what I want you to do is just engage your wrist first. Yep, pause. And then you start from the bicep. And keep that engaged. Keep squeezing the dumbbell and try to close this gap. Keep going up. and down. Demo a few reps where you're just dropping the weight and just relax at the bottom. Yep. So as you can see, there's no tension in the bicep and you're just relaxing as you go down. So what I want you to do now is I want you to do a few reps to lengthen the bicep curl as you go down. And imagine the dumbbells are trying to push you down. Good. And as you go up, imagine the dumbbells are pushing you down. So you're working against the weight. Now when you go down, look for the stretch in the bicep. And up and go against the weight again. Nice. And the next one, 3 seconds down. So you have to really control that weight. That's a bit too slow. So go up again. I'm going to count you in. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, pause. Still a bit slow. So it's a skill to do it in 3 seconds under tension. It actually makes it a lot harder. Nice, good. And at the top, just keep those wrists engaged. So squeeze the dumbbell so you're not getting loose at the top. Yep, needs to look heavy in the biceps. Good. So Lauren, now I'm going to show you how to take the set to failure. Understanding what happens when you start to fail a rep is key. And I'm going to explain it to you using a stress ball analogy. So imagine you have a stress ball in your hand and you're going to do 100 reps and you're just squeezing that ball. And for the first 90 reps, you can squeeze it quite, 1 and 2 and 3. So it's quite smooth tempo. But when you get to rep 91, the last 10 reps, you're going to start shaking. The muscles are fatiguing. And you can probably just do 1 or 2 more where it's a bit tough towards the end, but you can still finish it. So what happens is when you get to the last 2 reps, when you start hitting a sticking point where you might get to halfway, and it's either you start moving something else just to kind of cheat your way into it, or you just slowly grind, we'll call it grinding through the reps. You just grind through and just patiently wait for the muscles to finish the contraction. Mm-hmm. So with the bicep, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to apply the same principle. Okay. And in order to do that, you need to know where the hardest part of the movement is. Now, you can see the weight is directly above the joints. And when you do a bicep curl, start the rep, you can see now, this point, you just turn it, is where the weight is furthest away from the moving joint. So that's the hardest parts of the movement. Okay. So that's when you can start to expect it to get a little bit sticky. And when you can, instead of trying to throw the weight, just work through until you get to the top. So keep going to the top. And you can see your upper arm is almost parallel, so that is full range. Mm. And if you lower the weights down, so lengthen, weighted stretch in the bicep. Keep going until, without switching off the muscle, that's full range. So Lauren, now we're going to do a set where I want you to complete 10 to 12 reps and try to hit failure in the last 2 to 3 reps. If the weight is right, you'll feel it starts getting sticky in around rep 9 to 10, and then you can probably do about 2 or 3 more. If it's too heavy, you'll probably get to number 6 to 8, and if it hits 8, then you can probably do 2 more, and that will still be in the 10 to 12 rep range. If you hit it by number 6 and you only do 8, then the weight's too heavy. Right, so let's start the set. 1, 3, 2, 1. And I'm looking for you to maintain the non-moving joints, stability in the non-moving joints. 2. Keep the sternum tall. So when you lower the weights down, keep it tall, and that will go straight into the bicep. Good. 4. Remember to squeeze the wrists at the bottom before you start the bicep curl. Good. 5. Now you've got to really keep your lats engaged, so you keep those arms pinned to the sides. 6. Keep counting. When you go to the top and you start feeling the elbows lift, I want you to slow down the weight and just lock everything in. Otherwise, you're going to try and rush through the rep. So it's better to grind to the rep. Well done. Now this is starting to drift away. So go a little bit slower at that sticking point and try not to let everything run away. So there's a little gap here. So the last 2, I want you to really fight that. So really allow this to do the work. Ready? Go. Slowly, work through, keep everything tight. Yes. Good. 3 seconds down and 1 more. Really lock into the ground. Slowly. At this. Well done. So that drifted away. So I would rather you just slow down at that point and just breathe through and just really pin those elbows into the side. Okay, now do 2 or 3 more reps and really try to keep the wrist joint and the shoulder joint stable. Good. And you'll start feeling that sticking point hit. And when that happens, you've got to really lock in. And one more, please. And really lock in that wrist. So just curl the wrist slightly. Yep, there, perfect. And that tiny bit at the top, keep the elbows tight, breathe through it, keep going. Well done. Common mistake number 1, partial reps. Common mistake number 2, dropping the chest. Common mistake number 3, rolling the shoulders. Common mistake number 4, loose wrists. Common mistake number 5, drifting elbows. Common mistake number 6, changing arm path. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, let me know in comments. I'm creating a whole series of tutorials just like this, covering all the popular exercises that will empower you to step into any gym with confidence, knowing exactly what to do. So check out my other videos and stay tuned for more.